Stone Phillips. Good evening. We're going to show you some remarkable videotapes tonight. They were shot by a former police officer who uses a camera as a secret and sometimes not so secret weapon in a one-man war against abusive cops. You may already be familiar with one of his tapes. It's quite famous, and he is quite controversial because some people say he pushes police a little too hard. Tonight, you get to decide who's pushing whom. Here's John Hockenberry.
And you said you were going to, what, throw my ass in jail? Was that what you said to me? If he does that, then what?
Diop Kamau is a man on a personal crusade.
Now, what's your name, officer?
Some might say too personal.
And why'd you put me over?
The mission is to bring the police and individual police officers back in concert with the law, because I honestly believe that they're writing their own law. They're writing their own rules.
Okay, I got you. Give me.
He puts his body and his camera lens out there.
Okay, he's in, and I don't hear anything just yet.
Bad cops, beware. Kamau wants you to know he's watching you.
What do you say to the person that says, leave the cops alone?
If I could leave it for the police to take care of the problem of police brutality, I wouldn't be on the streets. But the police have done a dismal job in correcting misconduct.
Kamau's controversial methods have brought out into the open some moments that police probably would rather no one saw.
They got us.
Like what happened in 1989 on this street in Long Beach, California. Kamau's work on this night became a national story. The car is stopped, officers later said, for allegedly weaving.
We never changed lanes, we never touched the margin lines. We were driving straight as an arrow.
Kamau was in the passenger seat. And when he got out of the car to talk to the cop, hidden cameras were rolling.
Nah, man, we're still.
This is the view from street level.
Hey, over here.
For what?
Because I'm telling you to, that's why.
A simple traffic stop suddenly escalates into screaming and violence.
Put your hands on your head now.
Why?
Do it now, because I'm telling you to.
We started escalating the events to a much higher level than they needed to be.
Hands on your head, turn around.
I don't have a weapon.
Now what's happening
I
here?
now complied, and now he slams me into the window.
And after they put the handcuffs on,
When he took me over to the hood of the car and bashed my head into the hood of the car.
just minutes after being stopped, Kamau is taken into custody. Charged with resisting arrest and assaulting a police officer.
Turn around and put your hands on your head now.
Official report of the incident, police described Kamau as being in a fighting stance and cursing.
Hands on your head, turn around.
It was Kamau, they said, who broke the window, his forward lunge as the officer was trying to restrain him. The slam into the hood of the car, just part of a pat-down search, the report says. These pictures seem to tell a different story of the incident, but they also show why Kamau brings controversy onto himself wherever he goes.
You want to write a ticket, write a ticket. Don't mess with me, man.
Here, for instance, a lot of reasonable people might say Diop Kamau himself escalated the situation.
You can pat me down, but don't mess with me, man.
By getting out of the car in the first place, and for being belligerent.
What are you going to do? Put your hands on
If you want to prevent an incident like that from being escalated, I mean, isn't it better to just do what the officer says when you get out of the car?
Yeah, but I'm testing a real situation with real circumstances that an officer is likely to encounter.
The Long Beach Police Department refused to speak to Dateline. The charges against Kamau were eventually dropped, and he got a large civil settlement. Because of the incident, the California State Assembly stiffened penalties for police who file a false report, and the officers were forced to retire.
Say I'm an angry man. Well, you know, I think sometimes it's right to be angry, but I'm doing something with my anger. I'm trying to channel it in a way that will change minds and change the system.
Diop Kamau, you see, used to be part of the system, a policeman himself, who back then went by the name of Don Jackson. And he learned everything he knows about law enforcement from a 29-year veteran of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, his father, Woodrow Jackson.
I mean, I can remember even when I was 5, 6 years old, being in the back of a sheriff's car riding around with my father.
Kamau's father was a street cop during the tense early years of the civil rights movement.
He joined the sheriff's department in the 50s. There was no affirmative action. There was no protection. So if you took abuse on a racial level or whatever, you just had to take it.
But his dad remained a believer in the system, in American justice, and he passed that value on to his son. Kamau rose to the rank of sergeant. He worked undercover and was on a fast track for further promotions. Then an event his father told him about forced him to reevaluate his whole life.
1987, my father was stopped by police officers. He's driving with my younger sister and 4 kids in the car, and they get pulled over at gunpoint. 67 years old. He tells them he's a police officer. They lifted him up in the air and body slammed him and basically stomped him until his police ID fell out of his back pocket. And when they finished, they never even apologized. They told him he should understand. He's a cop, you know, brush it off and go on your way.
But for Kamau, there was no brushing off this incident. He stopped being a believer and became instead a vocal, some would say strident, critic of the police. He quit the force and with his camera vowed to reveal the abuse that he says has always been hidden. And at first, Kamau's father was critical of his son's open defiance. He had always burned quietly inside from the effects of racism.
He told me that I was thin-skinned, that I probably couldn't take it the way he took it.
Is he right?
Yes, he's right. He's right. And I told him, yeah, you're right, but I have a right not to want to put up with racism. I have a right to do something about it.
With his computer, he's turned the internet into a national clearinghouse for ordinary citizens' complaints against police. With his cameras, he's compiled a digital video archive where skeptics can see his reality for themselves.
This is my name.
Kamau says he is not afraid to commend the good cops, like this courteous lieutenant he ran into in New York City.
Okay.
This is what you fill out here.
So you're not disappointed if you find good cops?
No. In fact, I post good cops on my webpage. If I could find more doing their job the way it's supposed to be done, I'd put more on the page. One of the biggest problems with human rights issues is data.
He earned his master's degree and occasionally lectures at Florida State University. Kamau says his work is a tribute to the one good cop who taught him so much.
Do you ever wish you could take all of your success and hand it to him in some fantasy moment?
Well, I try to. And in fact, I dedicated my website and the work I'm doing to his memory.
Diop Kamau's father died in 1993. His cherished memory is undoubtedly the source of Kamau's passion. But could it also be something of a blind spot? Could this very personal stake in fighting police abuse compromise his objectivity?
Put that down, please. The camera? You don't have any weapons on you, do you?
I have no weapons.
I wonder why you're approaching me, sir.
I'm not approaching you. I'm backing up. I'm not touching you. I'm going to stand on a lighted street. I'm going to come over. I'm standing right here.
Last year, to test citizens' complaints that cops routinely targeted blacks for illegal stops, Kamau is on the beat in Beverly Hills, California.
Am I under arrest?
No, sir.
Am I being detained?
Well, I'm going to stop. I'm going to write you a couple violations I see on your truck, okay?
After initially saying he would issue some traffic tickets, this officer lets Kamau go. In a separate incident, just like in Long Beach, the Beverly Hills police pulled Kamau's partner and chief investigator Paul Parker over because they say he is weaving in traffic.
Basically, they're lying.
Officers order Paul out of the car and begin searching him. Kamau moves in with his camera.
Are you with them?
That's really none of your business, and I don't have to answer that question.
You turn that light on?
I'll tell you what. Oh, wait a minute. I'll turn the light out.
Don't you dare be telling this man what to do. You'll be interfering with us, and I will take you to jail, all right?
Do what you have to do.
Now, he grabbed my camera, which is my property. That's one thing.
I'm stepping back out of your way, and I'm not answering any questions.
Turn that light off, okay?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll turn the light out, and what I'll do is I'll step into some... Oh, you're hitting me now?
No.
You just put your arm on me.
The second point is he stepped to the one side and he pushed me. Once an officer feels entitled to push, he could get his baton out, he could use a taser on me, he could spray me with a mace.
This looks, to me, like here are these cops who've pulled over somebody, and there's this loudmouth jerk with a camera who's trying his best to piss him off. Am I wrong?
I think you're a little wrong.
I'm going to get away from you and step into some light, and don't put your hands on me.
Don't tell me what to do. I'm asking.
It's all on camera. Keep talking.
I question, I take issue, and I do challenge when I feel that my rights are being abridged. When I'm standing on the sidewalk with the camera, I'm not going to be intimidated, and I'm not going to leave.
Beverly Hills PD says it investigated this encounter. They say the stop was legitimate, that the officers did nothing wrong. Remember, the police initially stopped Kamau's partner for allegedly weaving, but in the end, they issued him a ticket for no front license plate.
You turn that light off?
I'll tell you what. Oh.
They say, well, he shouldn't be out there agitating our officers. He's provoking us. He's doing this. He's setting us up. An officer who really is in control of himself will not be provoked or allow himself to be set up because he'll just be doing his job.
If I fill out a complaint in
But last year, the question of who's setting up whom came to a head in the very same station where Diop Kamau's father used to work.
But for you to say that if I don't talk to you, you're just going to arrest me or find something to arrest me on, that's something against me.
At the Marina Del Rey station of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department,
I feel uncomfortable at the particular time talking to another officer.
Look what happens when Paul Parker, who's wearing a hidden camera, wants to know how to file a complaint.
If you don't tell me what's up, I'm not giving you nothing. Tell me what the problem is, I'm the one that takes the complaint. You want to tell me what happened, I'll be more than happy to listen to you. If not, call the 800 number you see right there in front of the table. If not, see you. Those are your three options.
But those aren't really the options. The sergeant should know that L.A. County requires its deputies to give out a complaint form that can be mailed in.
If you're telling me that, you know, you find something to arrest me on, I mean, that's the problem.
First, this deputy is refusing to give up the form.
You go get your form.
Then it gets ugly.
He went out the back of the police station, came around the front entranceway, right back in. Come back.
Parker describes what the officer is doing to him.
And came right up behind me, threw me up against the counter.
Parker says at this point, the deputy forces him to spread his legs and to put his hands on the counter.
What's the last thing you went to jail for? Huh? What's the last thing you were arrested for?
He's frisking me. He's taking stuff out of me, taking my jacket off, everything I have on.
What is your name? I asked you a question. What is your name?
My name is Paul Wesley Parker III.
Now, how hard is that, Mr. Parker, Wesley, whatever it is?
Then the officer delivers this chilling threat.
Do not see if you come off that counter for any reason in this earth. You understand me?
I got you.
Okay. They come off that counter for any other reason than I tell you to take them off that counter. You're going to pay a visit downtown at the hospital ward. You understand me?
I got you.
At this point, Diop Kamau, who has been stationed outside monitoring everything, comes to Paul's aid. Kamau also brings his video camera. The deputy now knows he's being filmed.
So, officer, you said that if I did not keep my hands up here on the table, and since I wasn't being detained, that I was going to pay a visit down to the hospital.
No, I did not.
Officer, that's exactly what you said.
But of course, we heard the tape, and that is exactly
That's what he said. But you know, this is the credibility gap where African Americans fall into the breach. When you come into a police agency and tell them that this officer did this to you, no one will believe you.
If you're telling me that, you know, you find something to arrest me on.
There's no other way to document this than to go in with hidden cameras.
Right back in.
A department spokeswoman told Dateline that because of this tape, the deputy was retrained, reassigned, and disciplined. Citing privacy laws, she would not say what that discipline was. Through the department, the deputy refused to speak to us.
I'm going to write you a couple violations I see on your truck. Okay?
These incidents are all now part of Diop Kamau's internet archive. Living proof, he says, that he's making a difference. And the dad he looked up to, who once called him thin-skinned, eventually signed on to his son's video crusade before he died.
But are you getting information by doing this, or are you trying to deliver a body slam to the officers to beat up your daddy?
Well, if I spent my whole career, I could never pay back anybody for doing that because it was so humiliating and so painful. But what I can do is put them on track, a track they haven't been on for a while, which is in compliance with the law.
Oh, there's still more sand on here.
She's fast.
But beyond settling a score, what drives Diop Kamau is his passion to change the world, to make it safe for his family. And there's something else.
Is there a bit of cowboy in what you do?
I don't like being pushed around. I don't like my family being pushed around. So I'm not going to go away for a long time. And the cops who think that this is a passing fancy, I mean, they'll just keep getting popped.
One of the problems in fighting police abuse has been the lack of reliable national statistics. In 1994, Congress tried to fix the problem by requiring the Justice Department to collect and publish statistics on the use of excessive force by police. But after nearly 4 years, Congressman John Conyers, the ranking Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, complained in a letter to Janet Reno that little has been done. The Justice Department told Dateline it's looking into the congressman's complaint.